Topdon RLink J2534 versus Renault Reprogramming. The unexpected success no one saw coming. Hey everyone, this is Hussein, and I welcome you to Baabji Motors, the garage of knowledge where real-world diagnostics meets smart experimentation. Today, we are stepping into a situation many independent technicians face when a Renault comes in with a programming requirement and you do not have the factory-approved tools sitting on your desk. And yes, before we go any further, here is a short but necessary copyright disclaimer. Everything you are about to see or hear is purely for educational and informational use. All trademarks and references belong to their respective owners, and we always recommend following OEM guidelines and laws whenever you work on any vehicle. Now that the formalities are out of the way, let me ask you something interesting. If you knew that Renault and Nissan secretly shared more than just an Alliance logo, would you trust a Nissan-oriented J2534 driver to handle a full Renault module reflash? Think about that as we dive deeper, and make sure you stay with me till the end because let us get into the actual story. When a Renault needs programming, the traditional pathway for independent garages is straightforward. You either go through the Renault Clip diagnostic platform or use the official Renault J2534 Reprogramming Suite paired with a certified VCI. That is the safe road, the expected road, the road your instructor would want you to take. But one of the Topdon RLink J2534 users decided to take a little detour, testing the limits of what this freshly updated device can really do. The RLink J2534 has quickly become part of the modern diagnostic toolkit. It supports multiple brands, it is powerful, and its J2534 capabilities keep improving with every update. But here's the twist. Topdon does not officially claim Renault compatibility for module flashing. That means what happened next was not endorsed, not advertised, and certainly not encouraged. And yet, the logic behind the experiment was too tempting to ignore. The interesting part is the bond between Renault and Nissan. These brands operate under the R&M Alliance, meaning Renault, Nissan, and Mitsubishi share a massive amount of engineering DNA. Their platforms overlap, their communication networks align, their control units often come from the same ecosystem, and most importantly, their OEM VCI systems historically follow extremely similar protocols. If their constructures, network layers, and security handshakes look alike, then the J2534 communication base should also behave the same way. So the technician behind this test asked a simple but brilliant question. If the RLink already supports the Nissan J2534 driver, and if Nissan and Renault share the same VCI principles, could the RLink be used to assist Renault's official J2534 Reprogramming Suite as long as the correct driver is selected? Is the kind of question that makes you look around the workshop and wonder who else has been thinking the same thing, but was too scared to try. It is also the kind of chew. So here is what happened next. Before any session begins, the RLink has to be configured inside the RLink DMS, which is the device management system that acts like the control tower for everything. The DMS handles driver installation, firmware checks, protocol switching, device authentication, and the overall stability of J2534 communication. Inside the DMS, the Nissan J2534 driver was manually selected. By doing this, the technician was essentially telling the RLink to behave like a Nissan-friendly interface, following Nissan packet structures, communication timings, and handshake logic. Once everything was set, the RLink was connected to the vehicle's OBD port. The laptop was ready, and Renault's J2534 Reprogramming Suite was launched. Before I continue, let me make one thing crystal clear. This has absolutely nothing to do with Renault Clip. Clip is the tool for guided diagnostics, coding functions, live data analysis, and troubleshooting workflows. The suite used here is Renault's pure J2534 flashing environment, which focuses entirely on ECU programming, calibration rights, and module updates. Clip would not communicate properly with this setup, and anyone trying to combine the two is only inviting error messages and frustration. But the J2534 Reprogramming Suite, that is a different universe, and That is exactly where the experiment took place. Once the suite loaded, something surprising happened almost immediately. The software recognized the vehicle without hesitation. It pulled the VIN, retrieved calibration data, prepared the flashing server session, and validated the communication stack. The RLink held steady through handshake phases, configuration, and even the security access stage. At this point, the technician was probably sweating a little, but the interface just kept keeping up. When the module flashing started, it progressed smoothly. Voltage remained under control. Data blocks transferred cleanly. The checksum verification passed without any drama. The ECU rebooted gracefully, and the vehicle came back online with the updated programming in place. No communication drops. No error codes. No corrupted flash. Nothing went wrong. And yes, if it sounds unbelievable, that is the same reaction the technician had in real time. The experiment paid off beautifully. It was one of those technical moments where curiosity meets engineering logic. Now, there is the part where responsibility comes in. Even though the outcome was perfect, it must be said very clearly that Topdon does not officially endorse Renault programming on the RLink. The Nissan driver workaround is not documented, approved, or guaranteed. Anyone choosing to explore this method must do so at their own risk. Just because it worked on this particular vehicle and this specific ECU does not mean it will behave the same way across the entire Renault lineup. Not all modules are built the same. Not all firmware reacts the same. And you do not want to be the person who accidentally turns a good ECU into a paperweight because you were feeling adventurous on a Monday morning. Experiment wisely, not wildly. And yes, that was the closest thing you're getting to a workshop joke today. This entire experience shows something important about today's diagnostic world. As automotive brands move toward shared architectures, engineering partnerships, and unified communication protocols, tool compatibility becomes less about brand logos and more about technical foundations. But understanding those foundations is key. Knowing when the theory aligns with the practical reality is what separates a risky guess from an informed experiment. In this case, the logic held, the technology cooperated, and the result was a successful Renault module update using nothing more than a Topdon RLink J2534 running the Nissan driver inside, Renault's official J2534 Reprogramming Suite. Now, let us move toward the conclusion. Remember the intro question about whether it is reasonable to trust a Nissan-oriented driver to handle a Renault Flash. The answer, at least in this case, is yes. My personal take is that as long as the brands share an engineering backbone, there will always be technical overlaps waiting to be explored by those who understand the systems well enough. What do you think? Would you ever attempt something like this in your workshop, or would you rather stay strictly within OEM-approved lines? Let me know your thoughts. Before we close, here's a fun fact. Many Renault and Nissan ECUs are built on the same microcontroller families, which is why their communication timing is often nearly identical. And now comes the final push. If you enjoyed this detailed walkthrough, help this video reach 10,000 likes and 1,000 comments. Share your feedback, hype the video, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss the next deep dive from Baabji Motors. Your support genuinely fuels the channel and keeps us bringing valuable content your way. Thank you for staying till the end. And until next time, keep learning, keep upgrading your skills, and happy diagnosing.